Blessing, once a country leader of the White Cross Legion on North America, with a dream to build a great fort, 4th generation, with foreign aid from the country of Kevin Ross. There he will meet a relatively empathetic diplomat, binds the trust between both nations, and even ensures Blessing that Kevin Ross will never abandon the White Cross Legion and will continuously aid him in building the fort. One day, the flag of the White Cross Legion is replaced with the flag of another great station called Gran Colombia. As Blessing wakes up, he finds his country divided by 2 continental powers, one being the aforementioned and the other being the American Empire. Kevin Ross took 4th generation and gave it to Gran Colombia. As hopeless as it sounds, Blessing tried his best to plead for the fort back, but to no avail as his correspondence with Kevin Ross was blocked. All hope seems lost. But then he remembers a certain empathetic diplomat who has developed a friendship with him. Knowing the diplomat made a promise before, he tried seeking out help one last time. The diplomat was willing to, but then he said, "I'm sorry, I can't." Auf Wiedersehen. And later on, his hometown of last generation will be occupied by the American Empire, marking the end of his country. Anyways, now is the time for a more neutral perspective. There are many nations in this geopolitical server, and on the North America continent there is this great North American Empire, or just American Empire, sorry. And here is where our story begins. Also, my apologies for failing to obtain the American Empire flag, so instead I will just go on Google and search for flag of America if she is an empire. And I found this looks pretty cool, so I'm using it. Blessing was in charge of a town called Last Generation in the American Empire, but he wasn't exactly feeling like being part of the empire. He was taxed, so yeah, you know. And he had no nation's perms, and he was constantly being threatened by a person named Sexy Ray, who does something really anti-sexy. I'm gonna kick your ass. Yeah! However, it is fair to note that the reason why they treated Blessing like this is because Blessing raided their bunker and changed everything in it without asking. Which is a trait that we will see throughout the whole story. Now there's a lot of things that we really hate happening to us, and being threatened surely is one of them, so Blessing planned for independence. Except on this Minecraft server you need an unpeaceful town or fort in order to create a nation. Last Generation, the town that Blessing owns, is a peaceful town. And Blessing doesn't exactly have the resources and manpower and the knowledge of where and how to build a fort to set it as an unpeaceful town in order to create his own independent state. Cause you know, for obvious reasons. So like anyone else, he asked for help. Legend has it that he has a friend who is a mutual friend of a person named Nightmare Swords, who's the leader of the 2nd greatest power on the server, Kevin Ross. Who doesn't even own Kiev. I'm not sure does he even own any Kevin Ross territory. He's also the type of person who also parties and goes to trip every single week. I was not joking. He literally does that. That's why we have like a second leader called Alvadaki. Yeah. So anyways, Blessing then started correspondence with Nightmare Swords, who was having a birthday party in real life. So yes, I was not joking. So Nightmare received the message and was very interested in Blessing's idea of independence from the American Empire, and they began discussing how this should proceed. Blessing was seeking to be an independent ally, while Nightmare Swords offered terms for Blessing being a vassal state in exchange for goods and services from Kevin Ross. And if you don't know what the term vassal state means in real life, imagine something like this. However, Blessing was seeking to be an independent ally, so Blessing did what everyone else would do, rejected the offer and began discussing for a more better offer. I, Panda Blessing, are accepting being a vassal from Nightmare Sword in CCNet. I swear I'm Chinese, and as much as you wouldn't believe it, I really don't understand this oath, not because of the difficulty of the language, but rather the second-grade grammar in this sentence. So Kievan Ross immediately started building the model of the fort, and Alphadaki claimed some areas between the mountains. Kievan Ross also recruited a bunch of towns nearby to form a country, surrounding the fourth generation, and intended to make fourth generation capital, a safe and secure location. And then next, Alphadaki handed the fort to Blessing. Actually, let me move the capital to last generation. You mean that one town that's literally surrounded by the entire American Empire? Yes. I'm intelligent. Next, Nightmare Swords, the leader of the Kievan Ross, being a perfectionist himself, he wanted the territory color of the vassal country to be cyan in order to match the color of the Kievan Ross territory. You know, because Blessing country is supposed to be a vassal state, and then Blessing was like, no, I'll make it white. What? Why white? Well, because, Knight, my totally independent country name is the White Cross Legion! Actually, legend has it that Blessing got the approval from the admins, and so the country's name is born, even though almost everyone disagrees with it because it would be very hard to recruit people when you have a name like that. I'll be real with you, I actually once asked the admins if I can create the Fourth Reich at Jerusalem, seeing that Imperial Japan, which the name is literally the exact copy of the same country which killed more people in one city than the 2 atomic bombs combined, and conducted a race of first killing 100 Chinese as the winner being tolerated. I then wanted to clarify with the admins rather if I can do the same with the Fourth Reich, and here's the reply. You cannot create a Fourth Reich in Israel, simple as that. To continue and insist that name and location is fine, is at best disingenuous. In layman's terms, just don't conduct any genocide on a specific race and racial hate. Don't worry, I treat everybody equally. Equally shit. Anyways, moving on, we can already see the rift cracking between the relationship of Kievan Ross and the White Cross Legion as Blessing continues to make decisions that aren't exactly aligned with Nightmare Sword's idea, even though the White Cross Legion is officially a vassal state of Kievan Ross. Meanwhile, a certain diplomat was sent to help and oversee fourth generation's construction. You know him, you love him. Me, no, we don't love you. Like, what do you think? I'm gonna sleep at night and dreaming about going to bed having happy corner with you? Yes. I really do like happy corners. Here's an interesting thing. I actually didn't know they made a deal like this, so I basically treated Blessing the way Blessing wanted to be treated, as an independent ruler of an ally nation. Blessing was quite happy about it, and we actually developed a trust. No, not a romantic relationship, you desperate little shite. Go back masturbating to KSI, yes.
You can edit his laugh into anything. Nice. Brilliant. Okay.
One day I told Blessing I was going to grab a bunch of coal generators to generate electricity and other items that will industrialize the place. Yes, I am really being the Chinese here. However, all those resources can only be found at a very rich town in Kievan Ross territory of Chernobyl. Oh wait, no, sorry, Kievan Ross doesn't own any Kiev or Kiev territories. My bad. It's called Chernaya, with a very kind mayor who volunteered to be stationed there for life. More like exiled. See, I was the mayor of 4th generation and I can't exactly leave my town. See, if you watch my last CCNet video, you will know that if you are in a town, you can suicide and spawn at your town spawn. So I need to join Chanea's town, or march my ass and break the world record for longest distance swam to get there, and then do the same but reversed back. Blessing, being totally subordinate independent ally, was trustworthy to me, so Blessing told me to give the forts to a friend, Clown Queen. And I joined Chanea. Man, I keep wondering, what if Blessing betrays us and declares independence from us? Nonsense, 4th generation is in our hands, safe and firmly in place within our grasp.
We got a #1 victory royale, yeah, Fortnite be about to get down. 10 kills on the board right.
I actually got almost a stack of code generator and other items, but when Dark Key and Nightmare Swords found out, they were livid and asked what the fuck happens if Blessing decides to betray Keith and Ross. I replied, nonsense, he will never do something that radical. What a beautiful morning. Oh, what's this? I am very, very mad at your big stinky booty chinky. Love from Nightmare Swords.
#1 victory royale, yeah, Fortnite be about to get down. 10 kills on the board right.
Blessing was out of control and was threatening to leave with the entire country of White Cross Legion. He would have been able to do that. He has the one unpeaceful town that makes sure the nation exists. It's a game rule if you still do not understand. Luckily, my name is no hacks, just Chinese, so I basically just went back, asked Blessing to give me back the fort so that Kiefer Ross can continue controlling his big fat bunda. Let me think about that. Oh well, Clown Queens isn't online, so I guess later. Oh well, I actually have like a stack of code generators and more items at Chanea, but looks like they are staying safe and secure in my pocket. Oh wow, suddenly Clown Queens is able to log on the server just on time. He'll take back the ownership. And just like that, crisis was averted and my diplomat position is once again secured, even though I actually wanted to kill people instead. Oh, one more funny thing. Remember the guy who was threatening Blessing? Yeah, Blessing gave him town trust at the fort cause Ray promised not to threaten him. Oh, one more thing. By this time, I think we can all agree that we all suspect that Clown Queen is really just Blessing's alt account, which is bannable on this server. This crisis has shown to the leaders of Keith and Ross the complete insubordination and true intentions of Panda's Blessing, and they had enough. Oh wait, never mind, he's partying. Okay, Christoric, I'm gonna be gone for a while. Make sure nothing happens. Okay, sure, nothing will happen. Alright, mayors of the towns across the vassal, here's a guy named Usam, or that's how I pronounce it, a leader of another great vassal called Grand Columbia. Leave Blessing, made him cry and blame Christoric for all the faults, unless he opted to get buttfuck, of course. I opted to be buttfuck. Okay, who else? Oh, what's this? I hate your big stinky booty chinky. Love from Blessing. Church of Aqua opted to be butt-fucked and the town fell. The farmer village opted to join the American Empire because Sexy Ray is actually sexy. Meanwhile, all the towns including the one unpeaceful town of 4th generation that binds the nation in one piece has left and joined Grand Columbia, creating one of the biggest superpower on the continent of the Americas. Blessing, when he returned, obviously was crying in my DMs. Ew, now that this crisis is finally over, I can finally rest. I don't think anyone would ever do anything to side with him. How about me? See, I actually didn't know the whole context nor the deal even up till now, so I went to Nightmare Sword to demand him to give Blessing a country or something, which Nightmare Sword basically replied, oh hang on, I got a meme for this.
My Negro, that is positively outrageous, but I do not recall inquiring.
And I was finally informed of the whole deal. In fact, I did a full look of the conversation between Knight and Blessing and found something really interesting. Like the part how one was having a headache while another guy was partying. Like the part how Knight promised autonomy while also scaling back many of them and attempted to control Blessing's decision. Like the part how Blessing never actually let Knight finish his explanation of how Kiefer vassals work because it is really complicated. Like the part how Blessing somehow sworn into becoming a vassal and still not understand what vassal actually fucking means. And I think the biggest problem is just no one in this conversation can actually clearly define the definition of the term vassal. Or maybe this isn't the problem. Maybe vassal is just the wrong word to begin with, to be honest. The sole reason they use the word vassal is because that is what the server call these countries. Knight doesn't treat them as colonies as they have equal status to the Kiefer members. Knight gives them autonomy, however also largely scales back many of them when they are being a naughty boy or simply doesn't go in line with Knight's plan. So what are they really? What are these regions that are supposed to have a high degree of autonomy and yet subordinate to a greater power and are still considered part of the nation of Kiefer as an equal and not a colony? I think I have just the right word for it, a revolutionary word that came up by someone with a revolutionary idea with hopes to bring the country back into unity in the late 20th century. Special Administrative Region. The first Special Administrative Region, or just SAR, was none other than Hong Kong, as China demanded the return of all of Hong Kong and the UK really have no reason to keep one measly island and a wee bit more territories all the way in the Pacific. Then Xiaoping understand that Hong Kong had been thriving under capitalism and a wee bit amount of democracy and knew the people of Hong Kong wouldn't accept Chinese socialism. And so Deng Xiaoping and Margaret Thatcher agreed to make Hong Kong a SAR.
Or has been operating in a democratic way. It's important to us because they have helped us in law enforcement issues. We have something like 65 ships that stop here annually. And it's also important for the economic reasons. There are 40,000 Americans who live here. We have a great deal of investment here, and there's a lot of trade.
Giving Hong Kong a high degree of autonomy, independent judiciary, party elections, chief executives being elected by a broadly representative election committee in accordance to the Basic Law. The Basic Law is something like a constitution of Hong Kong, with only a few Chinese constitutions that can actually be implemented here if they are added to the Annex 3rd. And just like that, Hong Kong was able to become a very well-known famous international port, attracting a lot of Western businessmen. As you know, Hong Kong is basically capitalist. Meanwhile, the central government of China is responsible for the defense of the region and foreign affairs. In layman's terms, Hong Kong can do whatever the fuck they want with their high degree of autonomy. They can have a completely different system that works for the region's economy, while being part of another greater power with equal status, as long as they are being a good kiddie though. And if they are not, how should I put this? Let me quote John Hancock from the Sons of Liberties.
You need to apply the whip when necessary.
Yeah. I'm relieving you of your house. I'm sorry.
And with that, I gave Nightmare Swords a completely unique idea that fits what he's trying to pursue. After learning of the whole deal, I then realized Blessing was indeed out of control and was out of order. He was the one who was betraying Keith and Ross, not the other way around. So much for his Discord status, by the way, fuck you. Blessing's town of Last Generation remained his and was soon occupied by the American Empire. Soon the town of Last Generation will change its name to Last Hope and become a capital of another vassal of Siberia. It is always important to make good use of communication, a simple principle that often leads to failure and is paid by those who are innocent and those who felt like they are innocent. A lesson to be learned. And why are your country names in this game just straight up a copy of the ones from real life ancient history? Bro, shut the fuck up, cause one, this is a fucking block game, and two, the fuck we gonna call our countries? New Russia, New Ancient Rome, New Imperial Japan, New Zealand? Motherfucker, like why don't you go shit on the English colonies first? My brother, we got New South Wales 10k miles away from fucking Wales. It's at least Newfoundland makes sense. What part of New Jersey look Jersey to you? Why don't you name Jersey New Guernsey? You got New Brunswick, New York, a new part of the new continent. There's Scottish place, New England. Bro, naming Greenland New Iceland would make more sense. Even the tri-state sounds better than that. Holy shit. Imagine the USA wasn't named the USA, instead it was named the New States of America. Bruh, oh wow, we got a piece of territory above Calhoun. Let's call it New Territories. Even the seas wouldn't have New in their fucking name. Imagine naming Northern Ireland New Dublin or Georgia New South Carolina. Oof. You know what New is? New is basically the underscore of IRL naming. Imagine Jamie giving birth and then naming his son New Jamie. Motherfucker. But even George Not Fun has a better solution to solve this problem. But then again, would it make sense to come up with Not Funland? See those places that are named after Victoria? Yeah, time to add the not found in the name cause she got sent to see Jesus. Or hell if you're the subjugated one. Same with that random state of fucking Washington. You know what? Not even the Americans can laugh when you got 67 Springfields in one fucking country. And also the fuck is Moscow and Berlin doing in America? Birmingham is an American city, by the way. Ocean City is a thing, and then you got Atlantic City. What the fuck is Rome doing here? You got 2 Romes. In fact, you got more Romes. My god, so don't even dare raise that goddamn ass question when you got city and territories names like that. These are completely shameless.